People across the country are reacting to former police officer Derek Chauvin's sentencing in the murder of George Floyd. Chauvin sentenced to more than 22 years, speaking in the courtroom for the first time. ABC's Zachary Keish is in Minneapolis with the story. Zachary, good morning.
Whit, good morning to you as well. Another emotional day here in Minnesota. And while the judge said he was not ruling on public opinion or to send a message, given the attention that this case has gotten both here in Minnesota and around the country, in many ways, it was unavoidable.
The court commits you to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for a period of 270 months.
After more than a year in the legal justice system, the judge handing down his sentence of 22.5 years minus time served after these heartbreaking words from George Floyd's daughter, Gianna.
Do you wish that he was still here with us?
Yeah, but he is.
Through his spirit?
Yes.
If you could say anything to your daddy right now, what would it be?
It would be, I miss you and I love you.
As Derek Chauvin received his sentence, a small gathering at what has become known as George Floyd Square, the scene of the crime here in Minneapolis.
It's a temporary fix, but does the change last beyond a day? We want lasting change.
I want to acknowledge the deep and tremendous pain that all the families are feeling, especially the Floyd family. You have our sympathies.
A mix of grief and exhaustion as the family of George Floyd expressed their emptiness one more time.
I'm here on behalf of my family, on behalf of me and my family, we seek the maximum penalty. We don't want to see no more slaps on the wrist.
My family and I have been given a life sentence. We would never be able to get George back.
Chauvin, a former Minneapolis police officer, was found guilty on 3 counts. His sentencing hinged on the top charge, second-degree unintentional murder. Under Minnesota law, that charge can carry a sentence of up to 40 years. For the first time Friday, we heard briefly from Chauvin, who offered condolences to the family.
Briefly, though, I do want to give my condolences to the Floyd family. There's going to be some other information in the future that would be of interest, and I hope things will give you some peace of mind.
And his mother.
My son is a good man.
Typically, Judge Cahill would follow the state sentencing guidelines, which call for only 10 to 15 years for this charge. But in this case, Cahill found aggravating factors, including that Chauvin abused his position as an authority figure, and that he treated Floyd with cruelty. Also, that there were children present at the scene.
What we're seeing here is so far from what we've seen from other law enforcement officers. This is a very big departure.
The Chauvin case is obviously a high watermark for making police accountable, and that's great. But it's just one case, and there's so much work to be done across the land.
If Chauvin serves his full sentence, he will be 67 years old when he's released. The reaction here in Minnesota was certainly mixed, but certainly also subdued. Now, those emotional victim impact statements really echoed this realization that no justice, no sentence could take away the hurt and bring back the person that they know affectionately as George. Dan?
Zachary Keish, thank you very much. Let's bring in Steve Schleicher, one of the prosecutors in the Chauvin trial. He served as a special assistant attorney general. Sir, good morning. After the sentencing, as you know, some of the activists and also some members of the Floyd family said they felt 22.5 years wasn't enough. Do you think the sentence was fair?
I do. I think that it was a significant departure from what the typical sentence would be, although I understand the reaction of the activists and particularly the Floyd family, because there is no sentence that's going to bring George Floyd back, and the enormity of this matter, it almost seems that there's no number that could really capture and reflect the magnitude of the case. But that said, 22.5 years is a significant period of time. It's a significant sentence, and it's 10 years over what the standard sentence would be.
He's still facing federal charges, Derek Chauvin. Could that add more to his prison time?
Potentially, yes, it could. I mean, the federal charges are going on, kind of independent of what was happening in the state. and he'll have to face court and consequences there as well.
There was an interesting moment. We saw it in Zachary Keish's report there. During the hearing, Chauvin addressed the Floyd family, and he said, and I'm quoting here, there's going to be some other information in the future that would be of interest, and I hope things will give you some peace of mind. Do you have any idea what he was referring to there?
I can't speak to what he was talking about in that moment. I think that it was important that he reflected some condolences to the family, but beyond that, I just can't say.
As you know, there are more trials coming up for the other officers who were right there and allegedly involved in various ways in the killing of George Floyd. So what do you think the verdict and the sentence in the Chauvin trial can tell us about the potential outcomes in these upcoming trials?
I can't speak to the upcoming trials because I'm still on the prosecution team. I'm going to be doing those trials when they're scheduled in March of 2022. And so I can't really talk about what's going to happen with those cases. What I can say is that this particular sentence sends a message nationwide, I think, to other police officers, hopefully to police officers in the field who would see some sort of wrongdoing by a colleague, and it would create a culture of intervention, that they would understand the seriousness of consequences that can flow from conduct like this and stop it when it's happening.
A case with many, many ramifications that will ripple out into the future in perhaps unpredictable ways. Steve Schleicher, thank you very much for your coming on this morning. We really appreciate it.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.